Hi, everyone. I'm Rosemary Miller here with California State Senator Steven Bradford, who introduced Senate Bill 673 to help find missing Black women and children. Thank you so much for joining me today, Senator Bradford.
Thank you for having me. Really
So,
appreciate it.
Senator, absolutely. What inspired the introduction of Senate Bill 673?
The data, the disparaging information that shows how missing Black children and young adults are literally ignored by law enforcement as well as the media. That information all but states that once a child or adult disappears, they disappear twice because the media and law enforcement never dedicate the same level of resources and attention to finding them and bringing them home safely as many of our counterparts. So the data in and of itself was what prompted this. Again, African Americans make up roughly about 12% of the nation's population, but young kids under the age of 18 make up almost 38% of individuals who come up missing on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm. You know, this reminds me of a similar bill that was passed in Minnesota for the Office of Missing and Murdered Black Women and Children from Ruth Richardson. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her. Have you spoken to her at all about this by any chance?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Oh, y'all should link up.
We
Well,
probably will.
could you give me an overview of the Ebony Alert system?
The Ebony Alert is very specific. It deals with individuals from 12 to 25, whereas the Amber Alert is only 17 years and younger. It also specifies individuals who might are known to have some kind of physical or mental challenges. That's part of what would trigger it as well. Are individuals who disappeared under suspicious circumstances and might be suspected of being sex trafficked or abducted. So those are the three triggering qualifications for the Ebony Alert.
And what methods will be used to inform the public?
It's the same methods as we use for the Amber Alert. We first notify law enforcement, then law enforcement notifies the CHP. We'll use our electronic billboards on our freeways. We would hope our social media uh, outlets would also put this out, and our media outlets, our networks, our radios, our TV stations, just as they do with the Amber Alert. We would hope that they use all those resources available to them to notify the public and provide all the resources necessary to bring these individuals home safely.
So this bill goes into effect January 1st, 2024.
Mhm.
What are the key milestones or steps that'll be taken in the lead up to implementing the alert system?
Hopefully, being very intentional and working with law enforcement to make sure that they understand that this bill is in place and what we're expecting as a partnership, and making sure that they utilize it in a timely and responsible manner, and just making the public in general aware. So opportunities like this is going to help us educate the public here in California to let them know that this tool is now available, and hopefully it will be used in a responsible manner to help bring these individuals home safely.
So I am curious, how can one ensure that law enforcement actually does respond to these alerts?
We can ensure that, and that's the sad part about that. There's no assurance that they will use it, just like we've seen that they haven't used the Amber Alert. But by bringing attention to this, by having the governor's support on this, meeting with law enforcement, we've had conversations with Highway Patrol as this bill was moving forward to say what our expectations are. And it's a shame that when it comes to Black and brown people, law enforcement has to be trained to do what they do on the natural for other folks. But we will be reaching out again to educate them, and if there's some training that's needed, we're going to help facilitate that and make sure that that is implemented in a timely manner as well.
Could you tell us what the broader goals are for the alert system? Do you hope this, becomes a nationwide thing?
Well, it's often said, so goes California, so goes the nation. So hopefully, we will move in that direction. I mean, the data is just glaring as to how bad this is needed, and it's again not just a California issue, but a nationwide issue. There are over 200,000 African Americans missing on a daily basis across this country. And again, we make up somewhere between 12 to 14% of the population. And that's alarming, a large percentage of missing people that African Americans make up in the general population. And again, very rarely you see that in the media. You very rarely see law enforcement making the same level of focus and attention on bringing them home, such as the Gabby Patinos of the world that unfortunately ended very tragically. But at the same time, there are African Americans who disappear at the same rate and face many of the same horrible, outcomes as that. But we hope this bill is the first step to educate again the public in general on how important this is needed.
Yeah, I do remember Gabby Petito. You couldn't turn on your TV or open up a website without seeing her face. And I'm wondering, what can the media actually do? Like, how can we ensure that we're having unbiased reporting when it comes to missing Black women and children? Because realistically, we can't put everybody up there. We can't put everybody. How does one pick and choose who gets the coverage?
I mean, I wish I had that answer, but I'm hoping by just moving this legislation forward, they see the need. First, you have to understand that there's a need. And unfortunately, law enforcement and media has ignored this particular population group. So by doing this legislation and getting the attention that it's gotten so far, it is shining a light that this disparity clearly exists throughout this country. So I wish I had a simple answer to that, but hopefully we're going to be able to change the hearts and minds and understanding, because again, the data speaks for itself, and it's hard to refute when you look at the percentage of individuals who are Black in this country who go missing, but you very rarely hear a bleep about them and any resources dedicated to bringing them home safely.
You are absolutely right. Well, are there any future plans or developments that we should know about related to the Ebony Alert system?
No, just again, spending the next couple of months before it's implemented to educate as much of the public as possible. Again, working with our law enforcement agencies to let them know that this exists, and we want them to utilize it in a responsible manner, and be very intentional about helping us bring these individuals home. And I'm sorry that there's some naysayers who find this to be unnecessary and it's racist in its implementation. But again, the data speaks. You should be more concerned at why is such a small percentage of the population make up such a large percentage of individuals who are missing on a regular basis. Again, we passed a feather alert in California last year dealing with our missing Native American and indigenous people, because the data spoke to how they disappear and how they're murdered, and very rarely is any attention dedicated to them. No one called that measure racist. So hopefully we can evolve and grow as a society and understand that there are biases and discrepancies when it comes to, finding Black children and adults, I should say. And this is just going to be a tool to help us educate the public as a whole, but more importantly, bring those individuals home safely.
Senator, are there any resources that you could share with us that could aid in helping people find missing Black women and children?
Resources such as, what do you mean?
Resources, websites, social media pages, anything we should know about?
Oh yeah, but we definitely want to work with all our social media outlets to, be it X now, Facebook, all those things that are being used. Again, when we trigger a Amber Alert, we want them to use those same tools to help bring these folks home. Our radio stations, our TV outlets, we want all of that to be utilized. Again, the electronic billboards along our freeways and highways, we want all that to be utilized. And we hope we'll have partners in the social media community that will help us also get the message out when someone is missing.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.